afternoon, and good evening for whatever time you are watching this video. Welcome back to my channel. So I wanted to make this video not just to update about my life, but because I thought it would be kind of confusing with the videos that I've been uploading. So I think the last one that, so I'll say, although I haven't been posting consistently on YouTube for a couple years, I was still recording videos about my social work journey, how that's been going, and trips, events that I've been going to, all that kind of stuff. So as I'm working to upload them, you all don't know the timeline, but I just wanted it to kind of seem more seamless than I think it might go. So the last video I posted, I was talking about my fiance, and then one that I'm working on was talking about the engagement ending. And so if I post them back to back, I felt like that would be just like, what's going on? So I figured I'd just pop in and make a video talking about my updates for where I'm at now in life. So I guess speaking of relationship, I'll start off with that. So I was in an almost 5-year relationship, and there were some things that were going on that I just, wasn't really happy with. And so we did get engaged in 2024. And looking back around that time, I don't necessarily have a video about talking about the engagement. And I can be, don't get me wrong, I could be a nonchalant person for sure, but I think that was a good indication of like how disconnected I might have been from that time period, and the excitement of getting prepared to be married. There was moments and periods where I will get excited and started to look at venues, look at different things, but overall I just wasn't that engaged with that process. So that was definitely an indicator for me, like, hey, what's going on? Do a self-check and figure out, like, should we proceed with this? And ultimately the answer was no. So we did end our engagement earlier this year, and that's definitely been a struggle for me. I've had my good moments for sure, right? I haven't posted any videos, but I had a great summer. But the reason why I forced myself to just like enjoy myself was because I was miserable. I was not in the right mindset, I would say, and I just needed to have fun. And I did, and now we're in a different season, and I'm like getting back into like focusing on work and then trying to get myself into study mode. So I do know that I probably will make some videos. I might not go into like super details about everything, but I do want to kind of talk about that time period, or at least like what I've learned from it now. And so yeah, definitely expect more videos when it comes to that. But just an overall update is that now I'm single, and I'm really trying to learn how to just enjoy myself. Like that clip that is going around about Cardi B, and she's talking about like, you go out, you have fun, and then you come home and it's like, oh dang, it's just me, or like I'm lonely or whatever. I've definitely had several of those moments, and I learned to deal with them because I'm really trying to break the patterns of I'm trying to break the pattern of my relationship history so that I can hopefully, possibly in the future, like have the relationship that I am looking for, the partnership that I am seeking. So that's that. So the next big thing that I'll talk about is my relationship with God. So I do have a video on my channel about talking about that, and ultimately what it came down to, well, some of what it came down to is I really was struggling with believing in God, because that would mean that my father was possibly in hell, and that was a struggle for me. I definitely, your loved one, you don't want to think of them in an eternal pain, an eternal suffering. And I think I also struggle because the scriptures relating to kind of like the concept of life, of our life right now on earth, is just so short. Like there's some that talk about it being like a vapor, like it's here and then it's gone. And so I really couldn't understand, like, if our time period is so short here on earth, then why are we being judged for an eternity? Now, don't get me wrong, I do for sure think that people should be accountable for their wrongdoings and should have to answer to that. But an eternity, like, that's you're talking about 5 seconds compared to like 5,000 hours. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. So where I am now in my journey, because I did go from like, well, do I believe in God? Have I believed in God and Jesus because my upbringing? And so where I am today is that I do believe in God. I do identify as a Christian. I don't have all the answers of what that looks like, but you know, to me, my overall arching thing is to love people, don't harm others, right? And that's the lane that I'm in. I will pray here and there, and especially for others. And so like, I feel comfortable doing that, and we'll just see where the rest of that goes. As far as career goes, I am a registered clinical social work, and I just gotta, you know, so many letters to remember, but I am on that journey. I'm about 4 months out from having out my hours. So I really am trying to, like I said earlier, buckle down and, you know, get this mind prepared to study for an exam. Like, I don't know, that's just the least favorite thing that I'm looking forward to. But I have to get permission to take the exam, and so I'm working on submitting my paperwork so that I can do that. And it's a little confusing, but that'll be done. So right now, outside of that, I am trying to use clinical language more of a second nature, really hone in onto techniques and just feel secure when it comes to the techniques, because I'll go into a different video, but I definitely have evolved in my experience, and now I want to build upon that. Okay, so health. Let's see. Last year, I had my physical. Doctor let me know I was pre-diabetic and I had cholesterol, and yeah, ever since then, definitely have had different eating habits. I will have a series coming up to where I dive in a little bit more into being part of the helping, you know, human services community, and the way that people just give it their all, and then, you know, you neglect yourself. So when I got the news, I was like, nope, I'm not trying to be on any medication. I got to do what I got to do. So ever since then, I've been doing really well with focusing on my diet. You know, it goes up and down, but my numbers were good enough when I went back. And so I don't have pre-diabetes, but obviously I still have to be mindful of what I'm consuming, how I'm taking care of my body. So that's that update. So then as far as mental health goes, and when I say this, everybody always is like, huh, what? But I essentially have been operating under being neurodivergent, and I have a plethora of reasons. I have a whole note about how I feel like it presents in my life, and using that title has really helped me when it comes to, okay, what do I need right now in this moment, or why do I feel this way, and just being really able to have a better identity about myself and kind of what I need. So I probably will talk about it in more detail. I think I'm struggling right now. It's just because, you know, I don't feel like I present in a typical way that people would expect, and sometimes that it's hard for people to understand when I say that I operate under that umbrella. But that's just, it's been, I want to say, at least 2 years since I have started to do my research and use the information that I'm finding to apply to my life, and it's been helpful. So at the end of the day, you know, I'm not, and the ironic thing was, And one of the therapists that I was talking to was like, oh, when you go through the psychopathology class, like you usually look at all the diagnoses, and you start self-diagnosing yourself. But I did not do that in that class. Like, I looked at everything. I was like, okay, I have bits and pieces of here, and that was fine. So on my own, way after I graduated, well, not way after, but after I graduated is when I just had an epiphany, and I started looking into um, autism and ADHD. You know, I'm not diagnosed, and it is expensive. I have some other things that I've tried to pay for, but you know, maybe one day I will explore that. But for now, the overall thing that I want to say is that it's helpful to me. So yeah, there's that. Okay, so really quickly, my hair, because I'm always talking about this, and it's on my channel, but it's the same, not the same, I don't want to say same. The back of my hair is doing really like beautifully. Middle, we're getting there to the lengths that I've had, and then the front, I think I know where I'm going wrong with that, but we're working on it. And so I think I really have some information that's going to help me to kind of push past this plateau, because I've been here for, I feel like, most of my journey. Even when I was relaxed, I was somewhere around this area, like shoulder to like right here. So I'm really looking forward to like pushing past and focusing. So I am in a challenge, challenge on my own to do weekly washing and have access to my ends. So I say that because, you know, I'll put in a protective style, and of course, like, I can definitely wash a sew in. I've done that when I had my birthday hair, but I think I really at this stage have to baby my ends and like cradle that thing. So I need to be able to access my ends. So I'm gonna have to be creative with my ideas, because I really like to switch it up. I really don't like to wear the same hairstyle all the time, but I think what I'm gonna do is just like rotate a few styles and figure it out, how to be creative but also address my ends. So we'll see how that goes. Of course, I'll keep you all updated. So I did start a second YouTube channel. The information is in the description box. Please feel free to check that out. But it's about movies, movie reviews, movie breakdowns. So there's that. No pressure, but it's there. And so overall, to just wrap up this video, I think I want to say right now in this current era, I feel like I'm really redefining myself. I'm trying to identify, like, find what identifies with me, and not just how I grew up, or not just what I think people expect me to be. I'm really trying to live for myself instead of the people pleasing tendencies that I've had in the past. And so I am in a current phase in my life where, I want to do some different things. I want to explore some different things, and like all the lists and ideas that I have, like, I want to focus on bringing those to life and really honing in on Jarena. And I think it's a beautiful journey. I really whenever I get licensed, I'm going to use that time to kind of celebrate my growth, because I definitely know that I'm changing for the better, and I'm going into another phase. I do see that there's an evolution that's building onto something that I'm really looking forward to. So I am, a part of that is moving out of Florida. I've lived here my whole life, and I think it will be a nice, like, natural transition to, like, I'm done with my licensure. I don't, it's the perfect time to go into a new chapter and start at a new location. So I'm very open to where I go. I don't know how much I'm gonna, I don't know as far as like video wise what I'll do with that, but yeah, you know, I'll probably pop in and talk about it in some way, shape, or form, because this channel, as I always said, it's for me. It's to document my journey, and you know, you guys are welcome to come along the way, and I appreciate you all for coming along the way. I'm always here to help as well. So this channel serves two purposes in that nature. But yeah, I feel like I've thrown a lot of information at you, but you guys are smart, capable, intelligent. You got it. You understand. But if you have any questions, you know, let me know in the comment section. But yeah, I'm so grateful to have you here. Yeah, I'm definitely putting out the videos for the first time in ever, like consistently. And I'm definitely pushing myself to do that. So you guys can expect, or you all can expect to have some videos every week. I'm putting that out there. That's a big thing to say, but I'm doing it. Anyways, so thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, comments, or critiques, because I am open, you know, I'm not opposed, leave them down in the comment section, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.